Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is it. This is the big one. Manchester United facing Everton away from Old Trafford. Joe is here, as always. This is the preview. Joseph.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
At the, what's it called? The Damon Hill Stadium.
This is why I went away from Old Trafford, because I had a little bit of a mind block there. I was about to say Goodison, and I realised it's not Goodison anymore.
It's the, what's it called? The Dwayne Chambers Stadium, I believe.
Close, but the actual answer is producer Harry? The Hill Dickinson. That's the one.
Is that a person's name?
Yeah, he used to do the... does he still do it? The antiques thing?
No, you're thinking of David Dickinson.
Oh, yes. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
sorry.
Idiot. Hill Dickinson. Isn't that a lower back complaint? Or you just got a case of the Hill Dickinsons.
Hill Dickinsons,
yeah.
Take 2 of these tablets.
You'll be fine.
Once a day, you'll be fine.
It is a big one.
Because
it means that it can be the difference between a sensational run of form or are things starting to wobble under Michael Carrick. You see, no one wants that.
We've gone with the topic, title charge, right?
Brilliant. One of the great topics. It's one of those, isn't it? If you've got it, use it. Because you don't know how often you get... Because Tottenham fans ain't using that on their preview.
Exactly.
I'll tell you that much.
So, do you know what? We're not really in a title race. We get that. But if we're even allowing ourselves to be deluded, then do we have to win this game?
Yeah. I'll tell you for why. Because...
Go on.
Tottenham and Chelsea are Arsenal's next 2 fixtures, which meet, and I think they're dropping points in at least one of those. Yeah. If they don't, I think they might well go on and win it. But I think that they probably will drop points in those one or both of those 2 games. City have got Newcastle at home and then Leeds as well. I don't think they're going to drop points in either of those, but if they do, United, if we capitalise in these next couple of games, that's when you can actually start talking about a title, because we also have got some tricky fixtures. Everton away, Crystal Palace at home isn't easy.
Newcastle away is
Newcastle away as well.
Especially with our record at St James's.
So it's not going to be easy. Obviously, it's not going to be possible, probably. But I do really want it. I'd love to get to a point where we're single figures behind both Arsenal and City. Because we're only 8 behind City. And if they go top and we're still 8 behind them, that's doable.
Yeah, it's just
possible.
Nice to be even allow us. Do you remember last season where we weren't really in a relegation fight, but people kept talking about relegation?
This is the same
because
thing.
It was like, you're not really in a relegation fight, but you're not that far away from it that we can't at least talk about it.
It's a great point.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing here now. We're not really in a title race, but we're not that far away from those that are, that we can't allow ourselves
because I tell you what,
to get
Sky Sports were happy to talk about us being in a relegation battle. I remember being on the radio on BBC 5 Live being asked if United were in a relegation battle. So if we were in a potential relegation battle last season, we're definitely in a title race this season. That's a very good point, Jay.
Thank
you.
And
we might as well enjoy it. Because like I said, we're 8 points behind the team that everyone thinks is going to win the league, Man City. That's a title race. Let's enjoy it and let's push this as well. Because like you said, if we were 8 points clear of the drop, everyone would be saying, "Are Man United in a relegation battle?" So we're going the other way now. Yes, we are in a title race. Let's bloody have it.
I love it when Joe gets angry. Me and you were chatting last night on the radio, funnily enough, about Senne Lammens. Yes. Because he's having a very good season, and I think you mentioned it, and you've mentioned it a few times. One of the biggest compliments I can pay Senne Lammens isn't, and I'm not trying to patronise in areas, during the game, I often don't think about him. I'm not worried about him. Whereas when it was Ali Bayandé or Andre Onana, I spent about 89 of the 90 minutes panicking about what they were going to do next. And he's just brought a bit of calmness to the side. You can see the defence feel a lot more comfortable with him behind him. And for a young lad, I think he's 23, to come into the side from Royal Antwerp, to make that big step up to come into Manchester United, and to be as good as he has been, because I think he's been very good. It's praiseworthy, isn't it?
Some things in life, Jay, are meant to stand out, and some things are meant to blend in. The alarm clock, it's meant to stand out. If it doesn't, you're late.
Right, okay.
Whereas, if you've got some kids around, weird sentence, if you've got some friends around and they bring the child, the last thing you want to be thinking is my dog the type of dog that's going to rip the kid's
Children
face
should be seen and not heard.
Yes.
Is my motto.
So like when you take your dog out for a walk, if your dog is a reactive dog that likes biting other dogs, all you're thinking about on that walk is, my dog is going to bite another dog.
Whereas if you take your kid out for a walk and your kid doesn't bite anyone, then you're happy.
What is the point? You still have to have the animal instinct in you, because otherwise life will come at you hard. No, but that's what I'm saying. Alarm clocks are meant to be heard. Dogs, They're meant to just be relaxed. They're meant to be pets. They're meant to be lovely. Goalkeepers are like dogs.
Right.
The less you think about them, the better.
Okay.
You're meant to be able to cuddle up to them at night.
Yeah.
I've gone too far. But do you know what I mean? You don't want your goalkeeper being on the back page ever. No. Unless they've saved 4 penalties in a penalty shootout or they've scored a last-minute winner somehow. They're meant to be 0 words in the match report.
Some reporter or an editor or whoever thinking of how can I get the word calamity into their name. How can I get some form of, a pejorative term for someone having a bit of a disaster into their name as a pun?
You don't want it.
Which is what we've seen. Like, Andre, oh no, Nana. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You don't need that. We just need him to be just almost invisible.
And that's
just
exactly
do things
what he is.
Like, he did well, that was the end of it. Yeah. Nice 7s and 8s out of 10s. Nothing, not... One week he might give you a 9 or a 10, next week he might give you a 2. Yeah. Which is kind of what Emi Martinez does, I think. Yeah. Emi Martinez has got a bit of that about him, where one minute he's winning, he's winning the World Cup, next minute he's throwing one into his net at Stamford Bridge. Just a very erratic goalkeeper. Not about that. Senne Lammens has done very well, and I think there's no, coincidence that since he's come in, overall, the form has been much better. I know it wasn't just under Michael Carrick. Obviously, he did well under Ruben Amorim as well. But you saw the way Bayern started this season. You saw what happened when Andre Onana was given a chance against Grimsby. It was disastrous.
Hasn't he only lost like 2 or 3 games in the sort of 20 that he's played?
Yeah, The issue that United had, and this is the thing, we didn't lose a lot of games. We just drew too many. Yeah. That was one of the problems that Ruben Amorim had. Wasn't the fact that we lost loads, because we didn't, but it was the draws, especially at Old Trafford, that sort of did for him. So Senne Lammens hasn't been, on the losing side that often, considering he's in a team that isn't right at the very, very top of the table. Let's get into predicted 11s. Before we do though, Joseph, get your phone out.
Oh yeah.
Let's show people how to join us on the pre-match build-up.
It's very simple. All you have to do is get your phone out like this, film yourself for 60 seconds, let us know what you think the score is going to be. Talk us through it. How's it going to look? How's the game going to go? Who's going to get the goals? And send it to paddockmatchday@gmail.com. The link to that email address is in the description.
Thank you, and a big thank you to everyone who sends in those videos. Much appreciated. It is your channel, and it's good to see you being part of it. Let's do predictions. Joseph, we'll start with you.
Yeah.
So you've done a little bit of a change from the team that started against West Ham.
Yeah.
Obviously, the back 6, I think, is the same. The back 7, actually. Yeah. And then it's the front 4, which is slightly different. Talk us through that.
Yeah. So I'm not trying to drop Cunha. I think we need to find a place for Sesko.
Okay.
He's got 5 goals in his last 6 games.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing very well. Obviously, the winner against Fulham, the equaliser against West Ham. These are important goals.
Yeah, they are. And I just think at some point you have to reward someone for that. And for me, this is the time. Less of a matchup thing, because I remember, was it Tarkowski earlier in the season, made a real point of slamming into all of our players and kind of, welcome to the Premier League dickhead type stuff. But I do think that if you're not going to, praise and reward your striker for scoring almost every game for the last sort of 6 weeks that he's played, I think that, that's a little bit unfair. So I've brought him in. I've taken Cunha out, like I said. I think it could be Ahmad as well, instead. But I do think that he really likes Ahmad, and Cunha seems to be the one that has been dropped or sort of on the bench in the past against City, wasn't it, where we kind of had no attackers. I think Cunha came off the bench in that game. However, it is tough on him, and it does mean Ahmad being on the left rather than on the right, but I don't think you're dropping Burmo as our top scorer. You cannot drop Bruno. He's one of the most informed players in Europe at the moment, and like I said, I think Sesko deserves a start, so I've had to shuffle it a bit, and that's how I've got it.
I understand your point, I really do. And look, if Sesko starts, I don't think there'll be many Manchester United fans who are moaning about that because of the form he's in and because you can see the quality he's got. And that finish against West Ham was absolute chef's kiss. Yeah. That was a real top tier finish. So, not only is he getting goals, he's getting very good ones as well. However, even with all that, I do think he is quite effective off the bench. And I do like Matheus Cunha. And I do think that Cunha away from home as well, we saw it at Anfield where he can keep you down the business end of the pitch. He really can. He's got something about him. And I don't know. I just feel that, I think Cunha's going to keep his place, basically. It's close. I agree with everything you said, other than the fact Sesko's forced his way into the side. I think Michael Carrick might just say, we're going to keep you on the bench for the time being. But look, it's nice to have these options because it wasn't that long ago. I know we had the AFCON and injuries and everything. We were struggling to put bodies on the pitch. We were looking at the bench and it was full of children. Either way, whether it's Cunha or Sesko not starting, you're going to have a top-level player on that bench as an option if you are chasing the game, or even if you want to try to defend a lead and keep hold of the ball. It's good to see that United do have options finally, even with Mason Mount seemingly still injured and Matthijs de Ligt's out as well, which is why they've not been included. Let's talk about Everton then.
Yeah.
Because Everton, for me, feel very much like a sort of, almost like a pre-Carrick United. It's just like capable of turning up and beating anyone, but capable of losing to anyone or dropping points against anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, the form, it speaks for itself there. You know, I think they lost at home, is it Bournemouth recently, won away at Fulham, which is a tricky one, draws against Brighton and Leeds, won against Villa away, which is a fantastic result.
Yeah.
But then it wasn't that long ago that they were getting knocked out of the FA Cup against Sunderland and drawing at home to Wolves. Imagine doing that. Pathetic. And losing to Brentford. Imagine doing that. Even worse. So, a mixed bag, innit?
Yeah, there's so many teams in these positions, isn't there? And United have just managed to kind of crack away from them a little bit.
Yeah.
But we talked about it for most of the season, how we're fifth, but we're 4 points from 14th and all that. And Everton are firmly in that.
It's the point of view, innit? Because whenever you get into this argument about where we were when Carrick came in, some people will say, well, we were 4 points or 5 points off top four, or whatever. Then others will say, well, we were 5 points off 10th or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So it just shows you in that sort of mould of, you're better than most of the teams, but it's not good enough, really.
And you'll have, all of the teams in this position will kind of have their spell of 5 or 6 weeks, where Brentford went through one, didn't they? And then they dropped a few points, but they won 4 out of 5 or 6 out of 8 or whatever it was, and pushed right up to 5th for a minute and then dropped back a little bit. Then we saw, I think Bournemouth are kind of in a good spell at the minute, and then they might probably drop back a bit. Newcastle had a bit of a run and then they dropped back. Everton had their run sort of that kind of came to an end 3 or 4 weeks ago, where they'd really had a nice little spell of games and they were up to 5th or 6th at one point, and then they've dropped back a little bit. So it's probably a nice time to catch them. They're not quite as, we said that they've only won 2 of their last 8, but they've only lost 3 of their last 8. So they've not been horrendous. It's not, Wolves or Burnley form, but they're a team that maybe isn't quite as in form as they were 6 weeks ago, just before or around Christmas. So, I think it's a good time to play them. They're a good team. They don't have many standout players. I think they're a sort of, what's the word?
Some of their parts.
Yeah, greater than the sum of their parts. They have some decent players. Dewsbury Hall's a decent player. Grealish is a decent player. I think he's injured.
Yeah, big blow for them, that.
But no one where and Dye, another one that's quite impressive, but seems to have dropped off a little bit from that early season form. There's no one where you go, Jesus, we can't handle him. But at the same time, Barry, I thought when he played him at Old Trafford, he looked dangerous and wasn't nice to play against whatsoever. They've got people like Idrissa Gueye, who's just got loads of Premier League experience, who can get it over the line if he needs to. And James Garner, another one who has been a sort of standout from this season. Yeah. No one where you go, he is the man to watch. And at times that is almost harder to play against, because with certain teams, shut down X and you win. Yeah. With Everton, it's like none of them are killer by themselves, so you sort of have to nullify the whole team, which can be a benefit to them, I think. But United are just better across the board, so surely that'll be enough.
Big test this for Michael Carrick,
yeah,
because obviously coming off the back of a draw, you want to see a reaction and a better result, because if you drop points again, then people start going, was it just the sort of new manager bounce? Yeah. Were we all getting it carried away? Yeah, now he's sort of been found out almost, which is a bit of a silly narrative considering he's only just taken over and this will be his 6th game in charge this time around anyway. But you know how it works, and this is exactly what will happen. Joseph, with all that being said then, give us your score prediction.
I think it's going to be a really tight game, this. I think it's going to be similar to the West Ham game. I think they're going to sort of pack out the midfield, try and slow down our quick passing, our quick 1-2s through the pitch, and try and nullify us by kind of getting one step ahead of that. I think another reason why Sesko will be good in there is because you can kind of bypass that central area, play it out wide, get crosses in, and Sesko can be dangerous. I think we'll win, but it's going to be really horrible and close and tight game, and that's not because we're going to drop off or anything. I just think Everton at home are a difficult team to beat. So I'm going to go 2-1, but it's going to be a scrappy, maybe last-minute goal or backs to the wall type performance, is my prediction.
Yeah, I completely hear that. I think it is going to be close. I agree with you. I think there'll be goals in it as well for both teams. I'll go 3-2 United.
Ooh,
I think we'll get over the line, but I think I agree with what you're saying. I think this is going to be a close one, and I know that Everton haven't been great at home, But a win against Manchester United would be such a sort of a lift for them and a confidence booster, and one that they'll be buzzing about.
Also, sorry, we've got their most recent results in front of us. You look at the numbers, the last 7 games: 1-1, 1-1, 1-0, 1-1, 1-1, 2-1, 2-1. Like, win or lose, they stay in games and they have tight games. Yeah. So, I don't imagine it's going to be a 3-0.
Villa were like the other way around, where they had all those tight games and they won them all.
Yeah.
Like, they just went through that stage.
1-0, 1-0, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1.
Even against us, where it was like, it could have gone either way, but it went their way.
Yeah.
They had so many of that, and I think with Everton, they just haven't really had that belief or that luck or whatever you want to call it. So you do have to respect them, like you're saying. Big thank you to Joe. Go and check him out on the Sloppy Joe's podcast. You know where to find me. We're going to be back for the watch along, of course. Send your score predictions to paddockmatchday@gmail.com and you will be part of the pre-match build-up. That's been Joe. I've been Jay. Don't forget as well, check out the merchandise, the link in the description. Thanks for watching.